It's time for the Tori Verdi Coaches Show. The Pitt Panthers Tori Verdi Coaches Show on the Pitt Radio Network is brought to you by Huntington Bank. Get more from money. The Tori Verdi Coaches Show is on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
And welcome into the Peterson Event Center here on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh, as this is the Tori Verdi Radio Show, episode number 2. And the Panthers with a little bit of a bye week this week. They get the Thursday off, coming off a nice victory, a comeback victory in Chestnut Hill over Boston College on Sunday night. I'm Josh Roundtree, joined by the Panthers head coach, Tori Verdi. Coach, thanks for joining me. Let's dive right into what happened on Sunday. You and I talked about it earlier. I think the first word that came up for me was weird when you talk about that basketball game. Great second quarter, obviously a great fourth quarter. First and third kind of went the other way. It was very odd how it was back and forth, really a game of runs.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, I'm just happy that we were able to pull out the win. And I thought that, the last 6 minutes of the fourth period, we did a great job of, they were done, one and done, and we boxed out and rebounded, and then we were able to score, whether it was in transition or executing in the half court. I thought Teresa was fantastic, just coming into her own and knocking down shots, having a lot of confidence. We got multiple possessions, just because of our hustle. All those things added up and put us in a position to win the basketball game.
I thought it was really interesting, and I'd be curious to go back and look at the true trend of this, but it felt like whatever team was better on the boards during that time was also scoring and going on runs. Like, it seemed like it followed that regard. They came out, they got a bunch of offensive rebounds, they built a lead. Then you guys kind of took over the boards, you got back into the game, and it just kind of flowed from there. Does that kind of show point A on how important rebounding can be to a basketball game?
No, absolutely. It changes, the whole flow of a game, and and that's why we stress the importance of it and so forth. But I'll say this too. Transition defense, was big as well. And, there were periods, obviously in the third period and probably within the first 3 minutes of the fourth period, we didn't stop the ball, and they were able to, throw the ball up the floor, and, they stop at the three-point line and were able to knock down some threes and get a little momentum there. So I think, the combination of that and rebounding definitely, whether, it was us or them, put both teams in a position to gain a little space in regards to the score.
I know you don't care how ACC wins come, but to do it the way that you did it in a comeback fashion and to do it on the road, how significant is that for a young team to see both of those things happen?
Oh, it's significant, and to win on the road is hard enough, and to beat an ACC team on the road is even tougher. And, again, I just liked our fight. I liked our, I felt like in the huddles, everyone, was talking, saying the right things about believing, and we got this one possession at a time. But, it was just, we were able to come up with the 50-50 balls. We were able to, just get extra possessions, and, the momentum swung our way because we made that happen. And I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure in the past games where we were in those positions, we weren't able to come up with the ball or execute or get stops, and I just went back and rewatched the game again. There were just plays where, they were running, some, quick hit action for a drive to the baseline and a fill behind for a three. And MJ did a great job on Carmody where she created a loose ball and then MJ dove on the floor and got it, and it was a tie up. And then we had the possession, and so that was like maybe a minute and 10 seconds to go. And then we got the ball. And, so all those things led up. But I just thought that, we worked hard. We stayed together, which was the most significant piece of it all. And that's something that you have to do. You have to rely on one another, and you got to continue to believe.
I was talking to a high school coach a few days ago, and we were talking about like the will that it takes to win basketball games. And he said that he doesn't describe loose balls as loose balls. He describes them as winning opportunities or winning plays. And I really like that. And I felt like your team found the way to get those winning plays back in their favor. What changed, though, in the last 6:45 to lead to that? Because it looked like at that point with 7 minutes to go, your team was kind of down and out. And it just takes that one spark, that one winning play win in order to flip a game.
Yeah,
right?
I think you're exactly right. We call them winning plays as well, and we made a ton of them down the stretch. I think that, again, I thought Teresa made, a lot of plays. She got a handoff from Lauren and basically at half court because they were denying her, and then went, and drove the ball all the way to the basket and Euro stepped and finished, and then she got a jumper. Then she, came off a ball screen and Lauren rolled, and two defenders went with Lauren, and T was able to knock down the three. And so, like, all of that, all those points that she was pouring in, I think gave everybody else confidence, and everyone then stepped up, defensively. And then it was just, okay, we could do this. We're right there. And then Lauren knocks down a jumper, and, so it all kind of came together, but they made it happen. And that's, as a coach, that's what you communicate to your team, every single day, every single opportunity. Like, you're never out of it. You got to just go out there and you got to believe in it, and you got to do everything possible to make it happen.
When you have the largest comeback in NCAA history on your hands, under your belt, does that, and I know this is a new team, different than last year, there's new pieces, but is there a recipe that you have to the comeback right now? And does doing it once or twice, and even, you go back earlier, Robert Morris, you get down big in that game, come back and win. When teams see that, they believe that at any point that they can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it puts pressure on the opposing team as well. I think at Robert Morris, we changed up what we were doing. They were able to execute offensively, and had us in scramble situations. We weren't doing a great job of staying in front of the ball, constantly in rotation and so forth. And we went zone, and was their kryptonite for that game. And luckily, then we started hitting shots. MJ, started pouring in points and so forth. And so again, all the pressure goes on them, and just like SMU, when last year when we were down 35 or whatever it was. And we're able to come back. And again, they didn't score any points in the third period, but all that pressure then, was on them. And again, it's a momentum thing, and it's a confidence thing. And then regardless of like what I called offensively against SMU, I was like, oh, that's going in. And you want to talk about weird? That was weird, and I'm not sure, if that will happen again. But for me, an experience personally, it was just, so different than anything that I've ever been a part of. But do I like being on that side, and do I like all these comebacks? Absolutely not. It's just where we are, with this program, and we're just fighting and trying to, teach each and every single day. And there's a maturation process, and having a lot of new players and a lot of young players, and just getting them to learn our system and what we're doing, and understand team defense and accountability and boxing out and rebounding. It's a lot. And so hopefully we could grow from this, and build on this.
I don't know, maybe The Art of the Comeback goes next to The Pyramid of Success from John Wooden. Have you read that book?
Yeah.
By the way, familiar with
Very
that?
familiar. Yeah, absolutely. You got to have a great foundation. And if you don't, and it's accountability and respect, and things of that nature. And if you don't have the building blocks put in place, you're not going to have success. And it's something that I've relied on, the previous two stops, at the University of Massachusetts and Eastern Michigan, and it's worked out, and we're here now, and again, we have a lot of work to do. And we're grinding. We're trying to do everything possible, and we're not having the season that I thought right now. I was hoping to, be probably +4, +5 more wins, on the year, and we're not there. And this is our basketball journey, and we're still trying to figure things out, and understand our strengths and weaknesses, and put our players in a position to be successful, to go out there and try to win some basketball games. And so it's a lot for players who haven't played at this level, and it's a lot for freshmen just to understand the game plans and how they switch up and what you do, and depending on what we do defensively on ball screens and this, that, and the other. So again, we're teaching a lot, trying to grow them, and we're just trying to get better each and every single day.
Absolutely. We'll talk more about that when we come back. This is the Tory Verdi Show right here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
At UPMC, we believe care goes beyond our walls and into our communities. That's why we support organizations and individuals who help people prosper by giving them skills and training for employment, including right here at UPMC. Because life-changing is providing people a chance to grow. Learn more at upmc.com/community impact. UPMC, life-changing medicine.
Hon, is your new pinball machine in our budget?
KeyBank will meet you in that our money is now our money moment.
Actually, our banker Steve recommended we start a joint checking account for bills and keep our individual accounts for things like, pinball machines.
Did someone say Banker Steve? I was in the neighborhood, in case you had any checking account questions.
Steve, you're always there for us. Now, how quickly can we open that account?
Steve, are you seeing this?
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank, member FDIC.
When it comes to financial planning, most financial companies ask, what's your salary? At Northwestern Mutual, we ask, what's your story? We know building the right financial plan means looking at more than money. That's why we start by asking the right questions, listening to what matters most to you, then guiding you every step of the way to help you live the life you want. Plan your financial story with Northwestern Mutual. Contact Northwestern Mutual Pittsburgh today. Visit pittsburgh.nm.com. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Do you desire a career in the electrical industry, have a strong work ethic, and take pride in your work? Well, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local Number 5 has immediate opportunities for you. Earn industry-leading wages and benefits, including health care for your family, retirement packages, continuing education programs, pathways for advancement, and so much more. For information, call 412-432-1400 or visit us online at ibw5.org today.
As that is up and it is in. 24 points for Hagens. Inbound to Carmody. Pitt will back it off. Carmody over the timeline. She'll launch a three at the horn. It goes in, but it doesn't matter as the game is over. The Panthers rally back from 14 down, and they steal a win here in Boston College. Final score, Pitt 64, Boston College 61. Back at the Peterson Event Center, the Panthers coming off a 64-61 win over Boston College, the team's first ACC victory of the season, and doing it in comeback fashion. Pitt trailed by 14 with 6:45 left, then went on a 20-0 run to win that game. I meant to ask you in the first segment, going back up to Mass, a place that you called home for a good while. I know you had someone in the crowd, at least from some people in the crowd, but good to go back up to that state and win a game up in New England, a place where you spent a good amount of your coaching career.
No, absolutely, and spent 7 years there, and so again played Boston College, every single year, and finally beat them there. Which was nice. We had a couple opportunities when I was at UMass, and went into OT, had the ball at the end of the regulation, and took a shot, and the ball rolled in and out, and so forth. So that was good. That was fun to eventually, obviously get a win there and see some family and friends and just get back to your roots. But we're here now, and we're trying to do everything possible to move this program and better it. And again, it's a work in progress and it hasn't been perfect, and learning a lot about obviously the university, what it takes, and how to get kids in, and what we need to do, and so forth. So it's been tricky, I'm not going to lie, but again, we are running, and we're doing everything we can just to propel this program in the right direction.
Obviously, it's a shuffling, changing landscape of college athletics as well. How much, and this is not just your program, but broad sense, how much has that challenged coaches, do you think, to figure out how to build chemistry with teams early when there's so many new factors involved, whether it's rev sharing, whether it's NIL, or whether it's just the portal in general and constructing new teams? It has to be as challenging, I would think, for a coach to build chemistry as it's ever been.
Yeah, it is. And for me, during my last two stops, I had the opportunity to build that chemistry, right? To build that foundation, have kids in the program for 3 years and 4 years, and know our system and be committed, and love where they're at, and not have 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door, or trying to figure out what my next move is, and am I going to get more money at another institution if I leave this, that, and the other. And so it's a tough landscape, and we need to figure out something that works, because where we are right now, and this is the majority of the coaches talking, throughout the country, it's hard, and it's hard, and to be honest with you, it's hard to build chemistry and have consistency if you're changing your roster over each and every single year, because now I don't care if they're junior college kids, I don't care if they're transfers, they're coming into a new situation, trying to get acclimated, trying to get used to their surroundings, and then you basically have, I don't know, whatever it is, 90 days, but you have the summer, which you don't get much time to spend with them. You get 4 hours a week, and and then so that's basically a month and a half, 2 months of that, and then they come back in September, and you basically have 40 30 practices to get ready for a season. And
is that something that maybe needs to be looked at, adding more time, or maybe adding the ability to play more exhibition games or something like that, a fuller preseason, if you will? I mean, I know you're in the constraints of school and everything that goes with that as well, but is that something that maybe can be proposed and looked at that would help?
I think it could, and again, if you have another, 1 or 2, whatever exhibition games, you have to understand, like, practice is practice, right?
Right.
But once the lights turn on and it's for real and it counts, it becomes different, and for us, I think we struggled. I think we struggled with our confidence, and we struggled with, okay, who's gonna be the one, and who's gonna help us when or be the guy who when we face adversity and take over and have leadership, and everyone was looking to somebody else, and we needed that, and we didn't have captains at the beginning of the year, and that was a reason. I felt like nobody was ready for that role. And it's extremely important, because the captain holds their teammates accountable, and gets them make sure that they're buying into what we're trying to do as a program. So again, to answer your question, it's really hard if your roster is changing over every single year and you have a bunch of new kids. It's hard, and it's not something that, like, we want to do. We're recruiting every single day of the year. It never stops. And, and it's hard. And you're
recruiting your own players.
So,
right?
well, you're recruiting your own players.
Right.
And then, obviously at the end of the season, the portal, you have everyone leaving, and you got to recruit, new players, and you never know who's going to come back. And so 1 minute you think, like, okay, this is going to be your nucleus, and then somebody goes in a portal, and then it changes you. Then you got to scramble to try to find somebody else, and it takes time, and you don't know exactly what you're getting, because you're rushing in. When you recruit, you see kids, and you're recruiting them for who, God knows, like 3 years, possibly 4 years. You get to know them, you get to know their families. I mean, all through their freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and senior years. Like, so you build that rapport and relationship. You get to see them, and get to know what they're about. And then all of a sudden now, you have a couple of weeks to bring in 5 or 6 new kids, and so it's hard. It's hard, and hopefully the NC2A can figure something out.
Yeah, I saw, this was kind of unbelievable to me. I saw a tweet the other day. There was a college football player, different institution across the country, who went into the portal and lined up visits for his new schools. And one of the visits that he was taking was to the school that he was transferring out of. He was going back to revisit the school that he had just transferred out of. So that's the landscape that we're in. I know that, as you try to look to build chemistry, a big part of that for you is rewarding players for the work that they put in on a day in and day out basis. If you're not bringing it Monday through Wednesday, you might not get rewarded with being able to play on Thursday. How important is that, and how important is it to keep that constant competitive nature in practice day in and day out?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we have level of what we want to do each and every single day. There's expectations,
right.
And if you don't meet those expectations, then you fall short for whatever it is, whether it's on the court or off the court, or whatever you're doing. Then I'm going to give somebody else the opportunity, and there's a reason why. Just the starting lineup has changed, I believe, more than 10 or 11 times this season. Again, there are expectations. We need to do something. We got to do the same things over and over, and we got to do them the right way. And when you have new kids, like that's all part of your culture, and you're building it, and you're letting them know that they can't do certain things, and kids try you. They want to get away with just about everything, and they have to understand my expectations, because if you want to be great, you got to do all the things that nobody else wants to do. And everyone says that they want to do, great things, but then you look at, what they're doing and what they're not doing, and it tells a different story. The great ones get in the gym. It's not like, you don't become a better player in practice. Like, practice is for the team. It's what you do pre-practice and post-practice if you want to, individually, become a better basketball player. And then there's everything else as far as taking care of your body physically, making sure that you're eating properly, hydrating. All those things factor in, because you could be a great athlete, but if you don't feel your body, you don't take care of it, you don't get enough sleep, you're not going to be at your best. And so, these are all the things that we're teaching and talking about, and trying to instill, a certain culture that, our players need to abide by if they want to be great and if they want to do, something special. But it is a work in progress.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk more about this specific team, and obviously a nice win on Sunday. We'll talk about some of the players that helped lead the charge to win in Boston College, and then a look ahead for the Panthers as well on a difficult stretch of basketball here for Pitt to begin the ACC season. We'll talk about that and more when we come back. This is the Torrey Verdi Show here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Okay, true stories from Huntington customers with Kitty.
So, tell me about yourself.
I was blind from birth.
That must make banking difficult.
That requires a lot of trust. Before I could even ask, Huntington offered their statements in Braille. That made me feel like I was as important as you are.
I'm sure.
It feels like just the right place.
Get more than money from your bank. Welcome to Huntington. Real people compensated for true stories.
We believe healthcare should treat the whole person and the whole community. At UPMC, we aim to do just that by partnering with organizations that help bring fresh and healthy food to the people who need it most. Because life-changing is caring for you before you ever walk in our doors. Learn more at upmc.com/community impact. UPMC. Life-changing medicine.
Find sweet success with Sarah's Candies fundraising. We've been helping groups like yours raise money for over 60 years and offer a variety of flexible programs to find a fundraising solution that works for everyone. Maximize your profits with our holiday brochure sale. Fundraise 100% online with our online ordering program, or earn up to 70% profit by selling chocolate bars and pretzel rods year-round. Fundraising with Sarah's Candies is easy and profitable. Visit sarahscandiesfundraising.com or call 1-800-255-7771 to get started today.
As on the basketball court, financial planning requires a comprehensive playbook to win the wealth management game. JKS Financial understands that your needs are unique and will provide the game plan to win with your financial goals. Their financial advisors use a proven wealth optimization system with a focus on retirement distribution strategy, and will coach you through your journey to financial stability and peace of mind for the future. Visit jks-financial.nm.com.
And welcome back to the Pitt Panthers Radio Network here at the Peterson Events Center. This is the Torrey Verdi Show. The Panthers beating Boston College 64-61 Sunday night. You talked a little bit about Teresa Hagans. We're going to talk with her here in just a moment. Comes off the bench for you in that game and delivers, particularly down the stretch. On the court with her development so far, it's interesting because I feel like as the opponents maybe have taken a step up when you talk about the challenges of ACC play, I don't see a player that's backing down in that regard, which has to be a good thing, right?
No question about it. And I think, some of the things that, she brings, some confidence. And that's something that we need. We need somebody to step up and, not be scared or intimidated regardless of our opponent and so forth. And, she showed that right off the bat when we went down and played at Clemson. And so we're seeing that. And again, her process is new and she, she's young and, she's growing and she's learning and she's starting to understand like every possession matters and you can't take plays off and you actually got to play defense. You got to box out and you got to rebound because if you don't do those things, it hurts us. It hurts us as a team. And I think a lot of those things when you're in high school, you don't have to do. here, especially at this level, we're trying to be perfect, and we talk about, in practice, we try to have perfect possessions, and we try to communicate what that looks like, what that feels like, so that way, again, when you go and play games, you play the way you practice, and again, it hasn't been perfect by any means, but hopefully, we could definitely, just learn from this last experience and kind of, just do something, coming up in next week.
She's a player in Teresa who has passion. I think that's safe to say. I kind of go back. There's a phrase that Mike Tomlin has when you talk about players who are emotional, and sometimes they kind of walk that line. He says, I would rather say woe than sick 'em when it comes to that passion and that energy. You would rather have a kid that brings that juice, that has that, even if it sometimes maybe is detrimental or whatever. You would rather have that than try to get that out of somebody when they maybe don't have it, right?
No, she has it, no question about it, and we just got to figure out how to tame it a little bit, because what you don't want to do is you don't want it to work against you,
right?
Being passionate and a quick example is just somebody's just jawing at her and talking, and then T steals the ball, and let's just say she scores on her, and T's gonna say something else, and that's where you got to just let your game do the talking, and her game does, it does. You don't need to, you don't need the extra stuff, because the extra stuff is what then gives them an opportunity to for the officials to call a T on you for taunting or whatever it is, and then give them free throws and extra possessions, and we don't need that. We can't afford that. So again, there's a maturation process there that and we're trying to coach her up and trying to make her understand, yes, we love the passion, no question about it. She's fiery, she's a lot like myself in that regard, but we have to tame it, and we got to make sure that our game does the bulk of the talking.
That's an interesting comparison you make, because obviously you're fiery and passionate as well on the sideline. The point guard is the extension of the coach. I mean, I'm guessing from the point guard position in general, you need somebody who is very connected and very in line with what you want to do. When you go out and you look for a point guard to bring in, are there specific characteristics that you look for when you recruit a potential point guard, someone to run your offense?
Yeah, we do, and there's a lot of varieties out there, and I think T is different. I think T is more of a scoring point guard, and as far as one who kind of just runs the show and understands where everyone's going to be, and at every second in every position and so forth, and so she's a little bit different, and which is it's not a bad thing. I'm saying it's a good thing, because again, she has the confidence to go and attack and be super aggressive offensively when the ball is in her hands. But again, then there's other point guards who kind of slow things down, and just run the show and kind of facilitate a little bit more. T's more okay. I'm going to go look to score, and then if the opportunities happens where defense rotates over, then she's going to look to drop off passes. But again, she's super aggressive. She could score the ball at all three levels. And she's doing a nice job for us there. And again, every day I think that she shows up and she's starting to learn and starting to understand what it takes to win here at this level.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk when we come back to Panthers point guard Teresa Hagens, coming off a career high 24 points in the Panthers comeback win in Boston College. We'll be rejoined later by Tori Verdi. This is the Tori Verdi Show right here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Mom, can you tell us a story about Ted?
There once was a Clearview expert named Ted who helped a family plan for their future ahead. As savings accounts started their journey to grow.
Financial advice is closer than you think. Clearview, clearly different.
Hey, Pitt fans. At LB Foster Company, we innovate to solve global infrastructure challenges. Our technology and product-based solutions support both efficient rail transportation and public infrastructure. We work hard every day to help keep our world moving. If you'd like to join our team or want to learn more about us, please check us out at lbfoster.com. Thanks, and hail to Pitt.
We believe healthcare should treat the whole person and the whole community. At UPMC, we aim to do just that. by partnering with organizations that help bring fresh and healthy food to the people who need it most. Because life-changing is caring for you before you ever walk in our doors. Learn more at upmc.com/community impact. UPMC. Life-changing medicine.
Hey, who's that girl helping you with your draft picks?
Oh, that's my Clearview expert, Jen. What do you always say, Jen?
Diversify your lineup, just like your investment portfolio.
Yes! She's a genius!
Financial advice is closer than you think. Clearview, clearly different.
And welcome back to the Tori Verdi Show here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. We're going to be joined first by Panthers freshman guard, not Teresa Hagans. It's going to be Jada Quealy who steps in first, and she'll hit the ground running with us. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. How are you? How's the couple of days been after the win in Boston?
Good. I'm doing good.
Take me through that game. You got to start. You hit a couple of threes. Your first 2 3-pointers as a collegiate player. What did you like about the way that you guys played in that game against BC?
I think we did a very good job of sharing the ball.
And you shot it well. You shot it well from 3.
Yeah, I just felt really confident stepping in to those shots that I took and that I hit. So,
what is describe your game to me? Like, how have you played growing up? What do you bring to the table as a player?
Me, I like to get downhill. I like to get to the rim. I just like to use my size to get into the paint and finish, and then I like to knock down open shots.
Tell me about your basketball journey. Canadian, right? From Edmonton originally, and then you played basketball in Toronto most recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you take me through when you started playing basketball? How old were you when you got involved in the game, and who inspired you to play basketball?
I started playing basketball at around 7 or 8 years old. I just played community, like in my city, and I also played soccer. So, I was a dual sport athlete, and I played very high-level soccer, and I ended up choosing basketball. I moved away to Calgary, which is about 3 hours away from Edmonton, and I went to Edge Prep. I played there for my grade 10 and my grade 11 year.
Mm-hmm.
And then for my senior year, I moved to Toronto. I played at Royal Crown School with Devine, and now I'm here.
I didn't know that you were such an accomplished soccer player. When did you decide it's got to be basketball? Like, at what point did you have to give soccer up eventually?
When I was 14. So it was either I move away to Vancouver to play soccer, or I go to Calgary and I play basketball. And I chose basketball.
Isn't Vancouver a little nicer than Calgary? No?
Yeah.
Fair enough. What position did you play in soccer?
Goalkeeper.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What did you like the pressure of that? I mean, that's obviously it's a position that sometimes you get very little action, sometimes you can be really busy, but it's a high pressure position, right?
Yeah.
Did that help maybe prepare you for any type of pressure that you see in sports? Because there's not many more pressure filled than that, right?
Yeah. No. I think it definitely prepared me, especially playing here at such a high level. I think that pressure, like handling that pressure, helped me.
Yeah, absolutely. What made you want to come to Pitt then? When you're going through the recruiting process, obviously you get to know Coach Verdi, the coaching staff. What was it about Pittsburgh that kind of sold you on coming here and being a Panther?
I'd probably say just it felt like a home away from home, especially being like international, and I live all the way on the West Coast. Like, I think that part's very important to me because I don't get to go home very often. I don't get to see my parents very often. So just having that relationship with the coaches and with all the girls, that was my main priority.
Yeah. Canada very well represented with this team. You mentioned Devine, who you played in high school with at Royal Crown, and you go down the list. I mean, obviously Lauren has played very well. There a little bit of pride in being a Canadian and playing college basketball. And what's the basketball scene like in Canada? Is it growing and growing kind of by the year? Did you see it getting better as you came up through it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely play with a lot of pride. I know there are a lot of girls that look up to me from my city. Mm-hmm. The scene in Canada is like totally different compared to the U.S. Like, obviously we don't have any NCAA teams, so it's just like totally different. Yeah.
Is it maybe more difficult to kind of get on the radar? And how nice is it to find a place like you did in high school that kind of showcases your game and sort of links you up with other top-tier players as well to give you that opportunity? Was that kind of nice to be involved in something like that?
Yeah, it was really nice. I'd say, yeah, it's pretty hard to get on college coaches' radar being from Canada, but at the schools I was at, with the connections that they had, they made it easy for me.
Yeah. You want to do a little rapid-fire questions here?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Favorite basketball player growing up or now?
LeBron James.
LeBron James. Why LeBron James?
I don't know. He's a goat.
He's a goat.
Yeah.
All right, you may not be wrong about that. Coach Verdi might say Jordan, but LeBron's pretty good too. I was going to ask you any other sports you played growing up, but is there anything else you like watching? Any other sports that you watch? Or are you primarily basketball? Do you watch a lot of soccer still?
I do watch soccer. I like to watch volleyball, track, hockey, football. I like to watch all sports. Yeah.
I was going to ask you about hockey because obviously coming from Edmonton, that's a big thing. Oilers fan growing up?
Yeah, I'm a huge Oilers fan. Yeah.
All right. McDavid then, he's the guy, right?
Yeah.
Favorite player?
Yeah.
All right. Gotcha. Perfect. If not basketball, what do you want to do in life professionally when you're done with the game? If it can't be basketball involved.
I think I'd like to be a dentist.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. The name is slipping me, but there's a former Pitt player who became a dentist here at Pitt, and she's very, very successful dentist here in the Pittsburgh region. So maybe we'll link you guys up. Favorite moment that you've had in basketball?
I'd say in grade 7 and grade 9, my junior high team went undefeated. So that's pretty cool.
All right, here's an off-the-wall question, but I looked up good questions earlier, and this was like the number one thing that came up. And I've heard this question asked before, but I want to get your answer on it. Would you rather fight a horse the size of? Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? You got to think about that, right?
I think 100 horse-sized ducks.
I'm going to ask Coach Verdi this later. Yeah, I'm with you.
Duck-sized horses.
Yeah. And then finally, favorite place that you've ever visited? You got some good options coming from Canada.
Yeah, I like Banff.
Oh, it's high on my list of places to go.
Yes, and I also really like Arizona.
Nice. All right, perfect. Great job. You did great, and obviously a nice performance for you the other night. A couple of big threes knocked down in that win over Boston College. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, that is Jada Quealy. When we come back, Teresa Hagans will step in as she's coming off a 24-point effort against Boston College on Sunday night. This is the Tori Verdi Show here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
A bicentennial isn't measured in years alone, but in progress. And KeyBank has been there to celebrate yours. Building homes, businesses, and communities together, bringing new opportunities to generation after generation. For 200 years, KeyBank's been meeting you in the moments that matter most. Here's to 2 centuries of service and counting. KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank, member FDIC.
When it comes to financial planning, most financial companies ask, what's your salary? At Northwestern Mutual, we ask, what's your story? We know building the right financial plan means looking at more than money. That's why we start by asking the right questions, listening to what matters most to you, then guiding you every step of the way to help you live the life you want. Plan your financial story with Northwestern Mutual. Contact Northwestern Mutual Pittsburgh today. Visit pittsburgh.nm.com. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Do you desire a career in the electrical industry, have a strong work ethic, and take pride in your work? Well, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local Number 5 has immediate opportunities for you. Earn industry-leading wages and benefits, including health care for your family, retirement packages, continuing education programs, pathways for advancement, and so much more. For information, call 412-432-1400 or visit us online at ibw5.org today.
Okay, true stories from Huntington customers with Kitty.
So, tell me about yourself.
I was blind from birth.
That must make banking difficult.
That requires a lot of trust. Before I could even ask, Huntington offered their statements in Braille that made me feel like I was as important as you are.
I'm sure.
It feels like just the right place.
Get more than money from your bank. Welcome to Huntington. Real people compensated for true stories.
Here's Hagans. Circling, finds a backdoor cut. It's Johnson to the rack, gets the bucket and the foul. What a pass from Hagans to Johnson, and she extends Pitt's lead to 3 and a chance for one more. A dime to MJ for the bucket. And welcome back to the Tori Verdi Show here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. We're now joined by Panthers freshman Teresa Hagans, coming off a career-high 24 points plus 5 assists against Boston College in Pitt's comeback win. I don't know if you know this, the last freshman in the ACC to have 24 points and 5 assists in a game was Hannah Hidalgo. So good company that you joined with that performance. Can you take me through, Teresa, that game that you had, and how much of a confidence boost was it for you as that game went on to score at the rate that you did, especially there in the fourth quarter?
I feel like in the beginning, it was a little rough start for me, but, I was just, trying to get my teammates involved, trying to do other things, like get rebounds, play defense, get steals. But I feel like as the game went on, it started flowing, it started coming to me. I started knocking down open shots that my teammates put me in good position to make. And I felt like after I was knocking down those shots and playing defense, everything else started coming together for everybody else.
It's interesting you say that, because there was a moment in that game and I think it was maybe somewhere during the third quarter, or maybe early in that fourth quarter, and you guys were on defense, and you came from the weak side on a shot, and you tipped a rebound out. You went up and over everybody and tipped a rebound out, and it felt like that kind of sparked you. Is that how you can affect the game outside of scoring? And what does that effort mean to a team when you go up and make a play like that off, not scoring, not handling the basketball, but the little things, the winning plays, right? That helped you guys a lot in that game against BC.
Yeah, I feel like that is a big part of not just my game, but everybody's game, doing the little things. Because I feel like if they see me doing that, they're like, okay, I got to go get this for my team, or I got to go get this steal, I got to go get this rebound. So
last 8 games, your scoring has started to climb more and more, obviously a career high with 24 in Boston. You just feel like you're acclimating to college basketball better? You're kind of getting a feel of what it's like and what it takes to score in college basketball?
Yeah, I feel like I am. I feel like, the trainers that I've been with have really, helped me to get to the point where I am today.
Yeah, absolutely. What area of your game do you feel like has improved the most from the day you got here on campus to that game the other night? What do you feel like has improved the most?
I feel like the most thing that has improved isn't even my basketball game. I feel like I've been trying to more improve my attitude and things not hearing what the coach, how he's saying it, but what he's saying, stuff like that.
Coach and I were talking about that, about passion and energy with players, emotions, things like that. Has that always been a big part of your game, playing with emotion? And does that kind of fuel you sometimes when you kind of get going a little bit in the game and maybe where there's talking or whatever going on out there on the court, but does emotion kind of fuel a lot of what you do on the court?
Yeah, it definitely does. And coming from New York, that's just how everybody play.
Tell me about that. Growing up in New York, did you play? I mean, what was that atmosphere like playing basketball in New York, and how much do you feel like that shaped you as a player now?
Playing in that atmosphere is it's like no other, because you got people talking on the sidelines, you got somebody talking on the mic, hyping everybody up, and you playing against boys, girls, college players. So I feel like it's really something good to grow up into.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about how you're an all-around player. 8 assists a couple of games ago without a turnover, 24 points in this last game. What do you enjoy more? Do you like scoring it? Do you like setting people up? Do you like the nice pass like you had to MJ late in that game, or do you like knocking down a 3? Is there an element that you enjoy a little bit more?
I definitely do like getting my players their points, because just getting them what they need to get so I can get myself going. But getting them going first, definitely.
Yeah. All right, let's do a little rapid fire, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Your favorite basketball player growing up?
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie. All right. Why Kyrie?
Just the way he played a game, his handle and everything. I try to mimic that.
Kyrie shoes?
Yeah.
Got him? All right, perfect. Any other sports you played growing up?
No.
Just basketball?
Yeah.
Any other sports you like watching?
I love watching football.
Football. You got a favorite football team?
No.
Not a favorite, no favorite NFL team, nothing like that?
I like watching Ohio State and Miami.
Okay. All right. Well, Miami's still alive.
Yeah.
Any football player that you like the most?
No.
No? Just Ohio State and Miami. All right,
Yeah.
perfect. If not basketball, if basketball is out of the equation, what would you like to do in life professionally?
I want to be an anesthesiologist.
Anesthesiologist, really? Why is that?
They make great money.
That's a really good point. You had a great quote the other night. I asked you about Lauren rebounding the basketball. Do you remember what you told me about Lauren, what it's like watching Lauren rebound?
I was like, watching Lauren rebound is like eating ice cream.
Yeah. So what's your go-to ice cream flavor?
I like cookies and cream.
All right, perfect. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Jada. Coach is going to maybe get asked this as well. Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck, so a duck the size of a horse, one duck the size of a horse, or 100 duck-sized horses? 100 small horses.
100 small horses.
Yeah, it's 2 for 2 on that one. So, all right, favorite place you've ever visited?
Probably Las Vegas.
All right, nice. What'd you like about Vegas?
Everything's there.
I'm a big fan of Vegas myself. And then last thing for you, why Pitt? What made you want to come to Pittsburgh and join this program?
Definitely the coaching staff and, like the people I knew was coming in and people that was already on the team, but most probably the community. Like, everybody's so nice, everybody, like, oh, you play for Pitt basketball team, oh, yeah, da-da-da, have a good game, da-da-da. Like, everybody's so nice, so I like that.
Yeah. Are you liking the city so far? I know it's been a little cold here of late, but have you got to enjoy anything about the city? Your favorite part of Pittsburgh so far you've got to enjoy?
Yeah, I went to see the lights. Those was nice. The zoo lights.
Okay, the zoo lights.
Yeah,
all right.
Is nice.
Pittsburgh Zoo. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Zoo. Awesome. Hey, congratulations. A great game the other night. 24 points, a career high. Looking forward to seeing what you have going forward here in the season. But thanks so much for joining us, Teresa.
All right, thank you.
All right, that is Teresa Hagans. We'll be back with Tori Verdi. This is the Tori Verdi Coaching Show right here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
UPMC believes that not having a place to call home is as much of a health emergency as anything else. That's why we're working to increase access to affordable and stable housing across Pennsylvania by partnering with local organizations. Because life-changing is helping you before you ever walk in our doors. Learn more at upmc.com/community impact. UPMC. Life-changing medicine.
Find sweet success with Sarah's Candies fundraising. We've been helping groups like yours raise money for over 60 years and offer a variety of flexible programs to find a fundraising solution that works for everyone. Maximize your profits with our holiday brochure sale. Fundraise 100% online with our online ordering program, or earn up to 70% profit by selling chocolate bars and pretzel rods year-round. Fundraising with Sarah's Candies is easy and profitable. Visit sarahscandiesfundraising.com or call 1-800-255-7771 to get started today.
As on the basketball court, financial planning requires a comprehensive playbook to win the wealth management game. JKS Financial understands that your needs are unique and will provide the game plan to win with your financial goals. Their financial advisors use a proven wealth optimization system with a focus on retirement distribution strategy and will coach you through your journey to financial stability and peace of mind for the future. Visit jks-financial.nm.com.
Hey, Pitt fans! At LB Foster Company, we innovate to solve global infrastructure challenges. Our technology and product-based solutions support both efficient rail transportation and public infrastructure. We work hard every day to help keep our world moving. If you'd like to join our team or want to learn more about us, please check us out at lbfoster.com. Thanks, and hail to Pitt!
And we're back on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. This is the Tori Verdi Coaches Show. I'm Josh Roundtree, now joined by Coach Verdi again. Great talk with Teresa and Jada. Obviously, I think two very different players who play a similar position. What's it been like, though, to coach the two of them? And obviously, I know there were some good battles in the offseason with them before the year started, and I think they've both had some moments. I mean, obviously, the other night you get 30 points combined from those two from your point guard position. That's a really, really good mark to have.
No question about it, and they are different. I think, Jay is more facilitator. We love her size defensively, and just her physicality from that standpoint. Teresa's dynamic and, ultra athletic and can just figure out how to get to the rim and create, her own offense. And so they're so different, but they complement one another, and they're both grown. They're both learning the game. They're both, understanding, what it takes to win at this game and how to prepare and all those things. But they definitely compete and practice each and every single day.
You mentioned, Jada's size defensively. I think it's something that, and I'll admit this, it probably goes overlooked a little bit, like what a player does on defense, what their capabilities are on defense. And I know you put a lot of stock in that, but it's just as important. If you can stop, 5 possessions, it's the same as scoring sometimes on 3 or 4 or 5 possessions. I mean, it all counts the same at the end of the day. How important is that, and how much do you try to grow your players on that side? How much have you been trying to grow your players on that side?
We work on it each and every single day, and we try to grow everyone, and so as far as Jay goes, and she was in at the end. We're subbing defense for offense, and vice versa, and with her and Carla, and her length, and and her, she's smart defensively, and she does a great job of talking, and so at the end of the game we were switching, and she's done a great job in practice, going through situational stuff. So I felt like she was prepared for that moment and did a great job for us.
Looking at this team, Tori, it feels like these last 2 years under you, there's been a post player that's obviously made a significant step. And 2 years ago it was Leah King, who ended up playing some of the WNBA. Last year, Hadijah Faye, which she was able to do, 2 first-team all-conference players. I don't know if first-team all-conference is what's going to happen for Lauren Rust at the end of this season, but to see the way that she has grown from where she was, before she got hurt last year, where she was as a freshman, even where she was early in this season, what she has done here of late for you these last 5 games. I mean, she's almost given you a double-double the last 5 games. Yeah. It's been significant to see her progress.
No question about it. And, if she just stays away from getting injured, she'll be that much further along. And but again, Lauren is a worker. She's always been a worker. When I was at UMass, I recruited her, so I knew, of her, and obviously she committed to the staff prior to me getting the job here. But and so she was already on the roster. So I've known her. But that's the thing about her. She works tremendously hard. She's so coachable. She will do anything that you ask her to do, and she's all about the team and so committed and invested. And loves the game of basketball. And she works at her craft each and every single day. She takes care of all the stuff, both off the court, on the court. Taking care of her body, and all that. It's just been for her frustrating because she's gotten injured so much. But again, I told her, I said, "You be one hell of a rugby player." She's physical. Yeah. She's not scared. And again, you look at, the other night against Boston College, she dives on the floor for a loose ball that was going out of bounds. I mean, we weren't going to get it, but because she dove on the floor, she got her hand on it and then tipped it and then went off them, and then we got an extra possession. And had she not even dove for the ball, then it's their ball. And, that's, you talk about winning plays, that's winning, and that's who she is. And I love coaching her, and everything is, everything that we say is yes, sir, and there's never any, excuses or anything like that. I got you. And there's a reason why, she's growing, and there's a reason why her game is growing. When you prepare like that, you put yourself in a position, to become a better basketball player, and she's done that.
How good has she been at identifying the soft spots in the floor and getting open and hitting that jump shot? It's an area of her game that she has, but she's it seems like it's coming more and more for her now.
Well, now she's, understanding that there's other ways for her to score, just not, back to the basket. We've never once said that, that's all that you are. It's finding, the gray areas, the soft areas within, we see zone or man, whatever it was. We saw a triangle 2 the other night, and we've seen a ton of zone this year. And so, understanding, okay, pick and choose, where do I go and flash and with confidence attack passes and face the basket and be a ready shooter. And, we've always encouraged her to take those shots. I think that she's coming into her own and she's starting to understand, okay, I can knock down. I say this every practice. We do shooting drills and I go by, her basket. I'm like, the best jumper, in Pittsburgh, or something like to that effect, and she just starts laughing or I'll say, best jump shooter, in the state of Pennsylvania, and she just laughs and shakes her head. But like, it's true. Like, she's like automatic from 15, and she's just gotta again have that confidence of like, I could do this and I can knock this down over and over and over again. And I think sometimes too, it's they think a little too much where okay, they want to share the ball, and I'm like, Lauren, you're wide. And this is what happens when we watch film. Like, Lauren, you just knocked down a shot, right? You flash into the high post, you're open again. And then you pass that one up where we worked the offense to get that shot, and then you passed it up. Now it's a broken play. I'm like, you got to knock it down. You got to take what the defense gives you, be confident, and it's okay to shoot the ball 2 times in a row. Like, you keep shooting it until I tell you not to, and then once we get there, then we'll figure something else out. But, she's done a terrific job, and it's all about, her preparation and what she does mentally and how she shows up each and every single day. She's so consistent. I know what I'm going to get from her every single day that she shows up.
It's so interesting, that last point you made, because I remember thinking the same thing about Leah too before you got here, and obviously she was a holdover from the previous coaching staff, but she would have those moments too where she would go out and hit a shot, and then all of a sudden she gets a little tentative, a little passive. It's hard for players when they're not the feature scorer to then become a regular scorer sometimes. But it feels like with Lauren, going from 17 points 2 games ago to 8 points now, or to 8 points in this game and 15 rebounds. I mean, it's just obviously taking off for her at this point. I think that the thing that really strikes me, and it's something that you hope that I think an entirety of your team can grab, is there was a timeout kind of late in that game where things were starting to hang in the balance a little bit and you guys were making a run, and you meet as coaches and they sit down and she's in the huddle barking at people, hey, we got to do this, we got to do this. That's leadership, and obviously for a player who missed all of last year, didn't play much as a freshman, it seems like she's kind of growing certainly into that leadership role as well.
There's no question about that, and that's why she's one of our captains, and I named her as the first captain because of what she brings and her consistency and her communication and her want to. I mean, she's a great role model for anybody who wants to see how someone shows up and works at their craft and wants to get better and so forth. And so again, you're starting to see her really grow and come into her own and have that confidence. And I think from a coach's perspective, that's something that we constantly challenge our players, and we want them to grow. We want them to feel that. And again, she's just going out there and she's making it happen. And she works. I mean, she works tremendously hard. And and it's every single possession. And it's never like if she makes a mistake, it's not because of effort. It's not that. Like, if she makes a mistake, it's just because of, whatever happened in that particular play, but it's not about effort.
Yeah, absolutely. You got an answer to the horse duck question?
Yeah, I'd rather, fight one big horse duck instead of 100 because, after 20, I'm going to be exhausted. So I'd rather just, beat down one big-ass horse or a horse duck, I should say, and be done with it.
Yeah, you got to hope that the punch lands and you get that good blow in. I can see it either way, but it's not a bad philosophy. When we come back, we're going to talk about a big challenge that lies ahead for the Panthers. They go to Louisville this coming weekend. We'll talk about that as we round out the show coming up next here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Mom, can you tell us a story about Ted?
There once was a Clearview expert named Ted who helped a family plan for their future ahead. A savings account started their journey to grow.
Financial advice is closer than you think. Clearview, clearly different.
Is your business looking for local and national health coverage? If you have more than 50 employees, UPMC Health Plan has something new for you. UPMC National Access. UPMC National Access gives employees access to the top-ranked doctors and hospitals of UPMC, along with nationwide access through the Cigna Healthcare PPO network. For the quality, affordable coverage that your company deserves, locally and nationally, choose UPMC Health Plan.
When it comes to financial planning, most financial companies ask, what's your salary? At Northwestern Mutual, we ask, what's your story? We know building the right financial plan means looking at more than money. That's why we start by asking the right questions, listening to what matters most to you, then guiding you every step of the way to help you live the life you want. Plan your financial story with Northwestern Mutual. Contact Northwestern Mutual Pittsburgh today. Visit pittsburgh.nm.com. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hey, who's that girl helping you with your draft picks?
Oh, that's my Clearview expert, Jen. What do you always say, Jen?
Diversify your lineup, just like your investment portfolio.
Yes! She's a genius! Financial advice is closer than you think. Clearview, clearly different.
Hon, is your new pinball machine in our budget?
KeyBank will meet you in that our money is now our money moment.
Actually, our banker Steve recommended we start a joint checking account for bills and keep our individual accounts for things like pinball machines.
Did someone say Banker Steve? I was in the neighborhood, in case you had any checking account questions.
Steve, you're always there for us. Now, how quickly can we open that account?
Steve, are you seeing this?
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank member FDIC.
Do you desire a career in the electrical industry, have a strong work ethic, and take pride in your work? Well, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local Number 5 has immediate opportunities for you. Earn industry-leading wages and benefits, including health care for your family, retirement packages, continuing education programs, pathways for advancement, and so much more. For information, call 412-432-1400 or visit us online at ibw5.org today.
UPMC believes that not having a place to call home is as much of a health emergency as anything else. That's why we're working to increase access to affordable and stable housing across Pennsylvania by partnering with local organizations. Because life-changing is helping you before you ever walk in our doors. Learn more at upmc.com/community impact. UPMC. Life-changing medicine.
Okay, true stories from Huntington customers with Kitty.
So, tell me about yourself.
I was blind from birth.
That must make banking difficult.
That requires a lot of trust. Before I could even ask, Huntington offered their statements in Braille. That made me feel like I was as important as you are.
I'm sure.
It feels like just the right place.
Get more than money from your bank. Welcome to Huntington. Real people compensated for true stories.
Back here one final time at the Peterson Event Center here in Oakland on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh. This is the Tori Verdi Show right here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network, and we start to look ahead for the Panthers now as they get set to head to Louisville for a matchup with the Cardinals on Sunday. First things first, this is an interesting stretch to begin your season where you have your ACC season, 4 of your first 5 are on the road, and I couldn't believe this. It kind of clicked to me the other night. This team will go from December 1st to January 15th with only 2 home games. That's a big challenge. Obviously, you'll get some home cooking on the other side of that, but it's a very difficult stretch of basketball for any team, particularly when you factor in the holidays and all that around it as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, something that I've, kind of bit my tongue and when our schedule came out and, obviously not very enthusiastic about having, our first 4 or 5 games on the road. And, I just think it's so important to get off, to a really good start in ACC play, and the fact that you got to go, there should be parameters around scheduling, and all I hear is conflicts, and you don't have the dates or you don't have the open gym space and this, that, and the other. But there should be parameters around scheduling. There's no way that you should have, I get 3 maybe, but not 4.
Yeah.
Right. And so that part's hard. But again, it's the cards that have been dealt, and we got to deal with it. And we got to go out there, and regardless of where we go, and again, you got to be tough. You got to be tough, and you got to give everything that you have. And road trips are hard. They are hard, and so again, at the end of the day, it's just about hopefully that you prepare the right way and you go out there and you have some mental toughness and physical toughness, because that's exactly what we're going to need next Sunday.
Obviously, Louisville's off to a really impressive start, and I think right now, at least on your schedule, this looks like maybe the best team you've played to this point, might end up being the best team that you play. What is it that Jeff Walz' team does well? I mean, they've always been relatively similar in the way that they play, even though they change faces. I think one of the things that Jeff does there is just be very consistent with whoever he has, and they're obviously a very accomplished group with him. But what are some trademarks of the way that they play with him?
I think they reload each and every single year, and they have those opportunities, and so they have size, they have speed, they have athleticism, and they have skill set. And those four things are dangerous, and he could coach on top of it. And they're a very, very good basketball team. There's no question about it. And they do different things. They try to speed you up. They run and jump, and and if you don't value the ball, you take care of the ball, you don't have that toughness, they just beat you up and they wear you down. And so I think that you already talked about it, that they may be the best team in the ACC, or one of the best teams. And you're absolutely right. I look at, across the board, I think Duke's very good too. And I just think that Duke had, a tough schedule, non-conference schedule, but they played some, really good teams right off the bat. But I think that they're coming into their own too right now. But Louisville, I think, is right up there, and it's going to be a huge, monumental task for us to go in there, and we got to play well. We got to play well, but we got to take care of the basketball. We got to execute, and we got to have toughness. If we go in there and we hesitate, or we're nervous, it's not going to go well. And so we're changing some things up in what we want to do, next week and moving forward, and hopefully we'll continue to grow as a team.
The other part of going there, obviously, is the atmosphere and the crowd. I mean, they always get a lot of people there.
Yeah.
We've seen some games there. This used to be a twice-a-year opponent for Pitt. Now with the advanced schedule, it's just a once-a-year opponent. But I've seen some games there where this team has gone in, and let's be honest, gone in as pretty heavy underdogs against some really good Louisville teams, and has stood their ground and had a chance to go there and compete and maybe a chance to win. Do you talk to your team about kind of embracing that environment, feeding off of it, and playing to it sometimes?
Well, I mean, they always say they want to play in front of, fans and people, and so they're going to have that opportunity. I mean, I believe it was, maybe my first year, maybe it was last year. I can't remember. Maybe it was last year. No, 2 years ago. I'm sorry, my first year.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because last year they came to us, but 2 years ago, it was a timeout or whatever, and they're having a mini concert going on. I swear, somebody was on a guitar right on the backside of the huddle. But that's the environment that it is, and so it's unique. They're going to be fans. They're going to be loud. And it's a great environment to play a game in. And so again, we got to be tough. We got to be mentally tough. We got to be physically tough. We got to stick together, and we got to do all the little things.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to that. It'll be a 2 o'clock tip in Louisville as the Panthers take on the Cardinals on Sunday, and we'll be on there with you at 1:45 on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Tori, thanks so much. Appreciate it, and good luck as you head to Kentucky.
Thank you.
All right, that is Tori Verdi. I'm Josh Roundtree. This has been the Tori Verdi Show right here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.